Hello. In this session, we're discussing how to solve equation where unknowns are on both sides. Your pronumeral is on both sides. So far, the equations we looked at were the ones which had the unknown only on one side, which was the left-hand side. But today we are learning how to solve equations like this. 7p, for example, plus 2 is equal to 3p plus 6. As we can see, p, which is unknown, appears on the left-hand side and also on the right-hand side of the equation. To solve this type of equations, we are going to get rid of 3p first by subtracting 3p from both sides. And then when that happens, we end up with an equation where unknown is only on one side. So here, if I take away 3p from that side, I'm going to end up with 6 only because 3p is gone now. And on this side, if I take away 3p, you got only 4p left. Then plus 2, which was there. And then once you got the equation in that form, you know how to solve it. We already discussed that. You subtract 2 from both sides. You end up with 4p. And on this side, you end up with 4 because 6 minus 2 is 4. And 4p plus 2, if you take away 2, that 2 goes away. You end up with 4p. And now you divide both sides by 4. Because p has been times by 4, you got to undo it. So divide both sides by 4 and you end up with p equal to 1, which is your solution. If you had an equation like this, where the larger coefficient of your pronumeral is on the right hand side, and the smaller one on the left hand side, this time you can take away 2u. In other words, always take away the coefficient which is smaller. So we are going to take away 2u from both sides. If you take away 2u from both sides of that, you end up with minus 5 here because that 2u is gone. You took away 2u and you ended up with minus 5. Minus 5. And if you take away 2u from this side, 8u, if you take away 2u, you end up with 6u, and you got minus 10, you got to write minus 10. And then this is an equation with pronumeral only on one side. However, we like the pronumeral or the unknown to be on the left-hand side, not on the right-hand side, the way it is here. So what you can do here, you can switch them around. You can take 6u minus 10 to the left, like this, and minus 5 to the right. So switch them around. So take this to the left and take minus 5 to the right to end up with this. And once you got that, you know how to solve that. You add 10 because here is minus 10. You got to undo it. If you add 10, you end up with 6u because minus 10 and plus 10, they cancel each other out. And if you add 10 to minus 5, you end up with 5. Now to solve this, to get to u, divide both sides by 6. So if you divide 6u by 6, you end up with u. And if you divide 5 by 6, you end up with 5 on 6. Because you cannot divide 5 by 6, leave it as a fraction. Okay, here we got some more examples. They want us to solve this equation. 5w plus 4 is equal to 2w plus 12. And you guessed it right, we need to take away 2w from both sides. Why? Because 2w is smaller than 5w. So the coefficient of w here is larger. So this has got smaller coefficient for w. So you take away 2w from both sides. Okay, let's see what happens then. If you take away 2w from both sides, this 2w will go away. You end up with 12. And on this side, if you take away 2w from 5w, you end up with 3w, and that plus 4 stays plus 4. Now, we know how to solve this equation. You got the pronumerator only on one side. You got to get rid of this 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides. So take away 4 from this side. So that plus 4 will go away. You end up with 3w. Take away 4 from this side. You end up with 8. Now, w has been times by 3. You got to undo it. So divide both sides by 3. So then you get w on this side, and 8 divided by 3 is just 8 over 3. Another example, solve 4u minus 8 equal to 6u. Here 4u is the smaller coefficient than 6u. So take away 4u from both sides. If you take away 4u from this side, that 4u will disappear and you end up with minus 8. And if you take away 4u from 6u, you end up with 2u, because 6u minus 4u is 2u. Okay, here again our unknown appears on the right hand side of the equality. We can switch them around to bring it to the left hand side. So bring 2u to the left and take minus 8 to the right to end up with that. Now divide both sides by 2 because we want to go to u. U has been times by 2, we got to undo it. So divide by 2 to get to u. But you got to also divide this by 2. Minus 8 divided by 2 is minus 4. So that is your answer. Another question, 4 minus 5g is 6g plus 7. They want us to solve that equation. Again, I got 6g and I got minus 5g. So obviously that is smaller, but also this is negative and this is positive. 6g minus 5g. So an easier way for me is to get rid of this minus 5g. How do I do that? This time I add 5g. Minus 5g plus 5g. So 5g will go away. So you got that, that's the equation. Add 5g to both sides. So far we were subtracting the pronumeral. Here we need to add. Why? Because already subtracted, you got minus 5g. So you add 5g. If you add 5g, that minus 5g plus 5g, they will go away, you end up with 4. And if you add 5g to this side, that becomes 11g. Then plus 7, plus 7. Okay, now we need to switch them because our unknown is on the right hand side and we don't like it, so you switch them around. So take it to the left hand side. So that becomes 11g plus 7 and 4 goes on the right hand side of the equation. Alright, so you know how to do this again. You got to get rid of this 7. Take away 7 from both sides. So if I take away 7 from this side, that plus 7 goes away. So I end up with only 11g. And if I take away 7 from 4, 4 minus 7 is minus 3. Now, g has been times by 11. Undo it. Divide both sides by 11. So then dividing this by 11 leaves me with g. Dividing this by 11 leaves me with minus 3 over 11. And that minus, you can put it here, or you can put next to 3, doesn't matter. It was minus 3 over 11, but you can put the minus sign here. Thank you for paying attention.